and welcome to Sadlier's webinar on taking a sneak peek of Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition. My name is Janine Ferrara, and I'm the Director of Product Management for all Sadlier's math and digital products. Also with us today is Jillian Geiger, our Product Specialist. She will be assisting me with any questions that you might have during the presentation or after the presentation. I should let everyone know that before we begin that everybody's audio, all your microphones are on mute. So you can hear me, but I cannot hear you. So should you have any questions throughout the presentation or at the end of the presentation, if you would put your question in the chat box in your GoToWebinar control panel, Jillian and I will address the questions at the end of the webinar. So let's begin. As I mentioned, we're going to take a sneak peek of Sadlier's Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition. And I'm going to familiarize you with the features and benefits of the Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition. So Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition is a digital version of the print student edition, where students work directly in an online version of the program where their student responses are automatically scored and recorded for reporting purposes. And I should mention that the student responses are automatically scored, I should say, when applicable, because writing exercises are not automatically scored. Those are the only exercises in the program that need to be manually scored. So students' responses are automatically scored. They're recorded for reporting purposes. Teachers can assign assignments online and generate reports based on student results. And what's new also for Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition is a parent or family component where parents can communicate with teachers to help monitor student progress. So that's a great new feature for Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition, and I'm going to take you through all of these features. But the advantage of Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition is that teachers, parents, students, they can access abundance of resources at point of use. The abundance of resources include all of the resources that normally you would go to vocabularyworkshop.com, and this is where we have our iWords program, our interactive games, additional practice, assessment, and additional teaching aids like graphing organizers. These online resources at vocabularyworkshop.com will now be integrated at point of use in Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition. The online student assessment system is also available now at point of use, and I will show you this once we get into Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition. But all the ready-made tests and the item bank that's available in the online student assessment system for Vocabulary Workshop will now be available at point of use with Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition. What Sadlier has developed, which is great, is a new platform called Sadlier Connect, and it's available at SadlierConnect.com. So all our users now of any of our programs would go to one URL to access all of our content. So for Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition, all our users now will go to SadlierConnect.com, and it's a single sign-on for all users, administrators, teachers, students, and parents. And when students, when a user does sign in, he or she will have access to all program resources. For example, the resources at vocabularyworkshop.com and resources at SadlierAssessments.com, which is great. Single sign-on is always nice. The fewer usernames and passwords we have to remember, the better. What's also nice, too, is that we have a teacher registration section here where teachers can actually self-register themselves. So, for example, if an administrator of a school has not had a chance to set up the teacher accounts, teachers can actually click the Get Started button here, search the database for their school, and register themselves. The student resources is where students can actually access free program resources. So these are all those resources that I had identified at vocabularyworkshop.com. So again, if you're a teacher or your administrator has not set up any student accounts, the student can actually come here and access the free resources under the student resources. So as I mentioned, it's a single sign-on at SadlierConnect.com, and it's for all Sadlier products. Today we're going to focus on Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition, but if you are a user of other Sadlier products, and once you log in, you would see all the Sadlier products that you have access to, which is, again, wonderful to have single sign-on. But today we're going to focus on Vocabulary Workshop, and I should let everybody know that we are now extending our interactive edition down into the lower grades. So new for grades 1 through 5 is Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition. So the interactive edition will be now available for grades 1 through 12. We will be offering site licenses for Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition. The site licenses will be available for grades 1 through 9. So if I'm in a, or 6 through 12. So if I'm in a K-8 building, I would have a site license to access all grade levels, grades 1 through 9. If I'm in a middle school 6-8 building, I would have a license for 6-12. The reason Sadler is doing this is because we want to our teachers to be able to meet the needs of all students. So should you have students that are struggling, we want you to be able to personalize the learning experience for that child by going down in grade level and pulling content from the lower grade levels to address the students who are struggling, as well as pull from upper grades should you have students who need to be enriched or on an accelerated type program. So I think a site license is great for differentiating instruction and personalizing the learning experience. So site licensing now available for Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition. Once you come in and you're a teacher and you log in, this is the landing page you would see if you had access to all our programs, all of Vocabulary Workshop grades 1 through 12. But if I'm in a site license and, for example, I only want to see certain grade levels, you can come up at this up to this top, to the icon in the top of your screen here, and you could set your product preferences. So maybe I only want to view grades 3, 4, and 5 because those are the only grade levels I'll be working with. So you can hide, if you would, the other cover so your home screen is not filled up as much. So just know you could set your product preferences and edit your account settings here, and also set alerts. The Sadlier Connect system will send alerts for struggling students. So that's a great new feature for Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition. So once I log in to Sadlier Connect, I choose my Vocabulary Workshop level, and right now I'm in level A. I went to the table of contents and I chose Unit 1. And so this is the teacher interface. This is what the teacher will see once he or she logs into a unit. And the content in Vocabulary Workshop is organized into 4 categories: instruction, student practice, assessments, and student resources. So the content from the print edition will be organized in these 4 different categories. Under the instruction tab is where you'll find your passages. Your passages are those high-interest essays in a variety of genres that give practice with close reading of nonfiction text. And at least 15 of the 20 featured unit words appear in these passages. The reading passages also help students master vocabulary and context, and these passages support the Common Core state standards for reading literature and informational text. So your passages would appear under your instruction, as well as the definitions. And the definitions at each level are a proven list of over 300 words that are frequently found on standardized tests, and they're organized within 15 units with 20 words in each unit. So that's where you'd find your passages and your definitions under instruction. And under the student practice is where we expose the words, or we provide the additional assignments where words are reviewed in several different contexts to help lead students to mastery. So you have choosing the right word, where students have to click on the word that better completes each sentence. You have your synonyms and your antonyms, where students have to select words from the unit that are most similar or opposite in meaning to a bold-faced word. And then completing the sentence is where students use words from the unit to actually complete the sentence. But new to the program is the writing words in action. And this is another feature that addresses the Common Core State Standards. It aligns to the writing standards. And here students are given 2 writing prompts, where students use unit words to respond to a question about the opening passage. And so that's one prompt. And the second prompt is modeled on writing prompts that are typically found on standardized tests. And if you recall, in the beginning I mentioned all writing exercises have to be manually scored. So the writing words in action have to be manually scored. And another new feature is the vocabulary in context feature. And here students answer questions based on excerpts from recognized literature. Again, this helps students understand the meaning of the vocabulary word, and this is a big part of the Common Core State Standards for Reading and Literature. So I'm in the teacher view of Unit 1, but I could navigate to any other part of the program by clicking on this icon and clicking on the table of contents icon, and I can navigate to another part of the Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition program. And to the right here, this is our preview pane. And this is if you clicked on a particular assignment. So for example, I had clicked on, I had put my cursor on the completing the sentence. So here's where you'll see a thumbnail, if you would, a quick view of the Student Edition page. And I can click the little eye icon there to view the assignment in its entirety, a larger view of the assignment. Or I can click on the Assign icon to assign this assignment, completing the sentence to students. And then you can see at the bottom of the preview pane, there's a standards, and it says 6L4. And this is this identifies the Common Core State Standard that is addressed by this assignment. So this is what we call our preview pane. So at a glance, you could see what the assignment looks like. Under the next category is our assessments. And here is where, remember in the beginning I was talking to you about SadlierAssessments.com, and that's where we had our online assessments. With Vocabulary Workshop, this is all built in, which is great. Again, one single sign-on, and you have your instruction as well as your practice and your assessments. So here students, teachers I should say, can actually build an assessment from an item bank. Or a teacher can actually view and assign assessments that were in the Student Edition, from Vocabulary Workshop Student Test Booklet, and from our online student assessment system. So you'll see how the assessment is built in at point of use, because we're in Unit 1, and these are the assessments and available for Unit 1. As you progress into the units, you'll have unit reviews, cumulative reviews, and at the end, of course, your final mastery. Your student resources, this is where, remember in the beginning again, at vocabularyworkshop.com, I talked about the interactive games and the iWords, all your free program resources. This is where, as a teacher, you can view all these free program resources at point of use. And you can see here how they're correlated, right? So I'm in Unit 1, and now I know exactly what resources are all available for me as a teacher for Unit 1. I have my instruction, I have my student practice, my assessments, and my free student resources. I should say that, I should let you know also that the instruction, the student practice, and the assessments, these are all assignable to students. So the assignments here are assignable to students. You would assign it with your little icon here. The free student resources are just viewable. We would not assign an interactive game for students, but as a teacher you can actually view it, which I think is really nice. So as I mentioned before, you can assign the assignments two ways. You can click on your assignment icon. This is our assignment icon. Or you can click on it from the preview pane. Again, I should say assign it or view it from the preview pane or from the teacher view, the main page as well. So here's the teacher view of an assignment. You could see how the online resources are at point of use. We have audio instruction. We have our iWords at point of use. And then we also have a teacher toolbar at the top of the screen. And the first toolbar, the first icon here, is where teachers can click on that icon to have the assignment go full screen. So this is great for a teacher who wants to project the assignment in the front of a class, maybe on an interactive whiteboard, and for whole group instruction, and have students either come up and interact with the page, enter the answer, but it becomes, you can expand the assignment to a full screen to use as for whole group instruction. You can also zoom in using this icon here. It's a pull-down menu, and you could zoom in to any portion of the screen to emphasize a particular word or definition. You have a highlighter feature, so you can highlight particular information, specific information on the page, and you can also take notes. You could view the answer key to the assignment. So that's important to know that you could view the assignment with and without answers. And then here's where from the view screen I can click and I can assign this assignment to my students as well as print every assignment. So that's important to know should you need to, for any reason, print the assignment. If students are not able to take it online, you are able to print assignments. Something also important I like is if you have a particular word list that you use in your school and you'd like to know if it's somewhere in our vocabulary workshop program or in any other program, you can actually enter a word in the search feature here, and it will search not only within the grade level product that you're in, but across the products, across the grade levels of vocabulary workshop, and across all product levels that you are using of Sadlier. So for example, say you have our grammar for writing program and our vocabulary workshop program, you can actually search on different keywords to see where we have additional resources for that search criteria, which I think is really great. Here's where you're going to assign or create, I should say create an assignment. We click that little assignment icon, so that's this icon. We clicked it on the previous screen. And here's where you would choose your class. You would choose your section. In this case, it was Unit 1. And the title of your assignment, which is definitions, or maybe completing the sentence or antonyms, and you can click multiple assignments at once. Those Common Core state standards or any state standard that is addressed in these assignments would be populated here to know that these are the assignments that are addressed. And then your assignment name takes on the section and title name. So right now, my assignment name would be Unit 1 Definitions. And just know that that's automatically populated, but it can be overridden, so you could override it with a name that you would prefer to use. You need to indicate a start and an end date for your assignment. And you can indicate that you can scramble the order of the questions. And I should say, not only are the order of the questions scrambled, but also for those questions that have multiple choice, that are in multiple choice format, the answer choices will also be scrambled as well. So that makes for a more secure learning environment, which is great. The next option you have is to exclude assignment data from reports and alerts. And this just means you can check this box so that the assignment that you're assigning to students would just not be included in any reports that you would generate for the class. So maybe it's just a practice assignment, or maybe it's the beginning of the instruction and you do not want to include it in any reports that you might want to roll up to your administrator or building level or district level. So you would click to exclude it. And then you can come down here and you can check this box to assign it to all students in your class, or you can come down here and you can individually assign it to specific students. I only have 3 students in my class, but should a Obviously, you would have more, and you would just scroll down to assign it to those students. Up at the top here is your assignment list. You can come back here and you could check which assignments you've assigned and which you could check the status of assignments with students. Down at the bottom here is this is where you're going to manage your class. You can actually create groups within a class. So say you have accelerated learners or struggling learners, you can create a group of students for those different learning abilities and underneath your managed classes. Under Manage Students, this is where you're going to import your students and set up your students. And you also have the ability here, and this is what I really enjoy about this system, is that the communication with parents. You could set up your parent accounts here with emails, and you're able to communicate with parents. Here again, as I said, here's your student management. This is going back into manage your students. So you have the ability to manually upload your students. You can add them one at a time, or you can bulk upload them using the bulk upload feature. Maybe your school has a larger learning management system where you've exported your class roster in such a form that can be uploaded into our system. You can bulk upload them. And you can also export your roster as well, your student roster. What's new to Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition is another great feature is our messaging system. We have a built-in messaging system where teachers can communicate, or I should say administrators. An administrator could be a principal, vice principal, department chair. It can also be a teacher, tech coordinator, but administrators and teachers can communicate with one another. So administrators can message teachers, students, and parents. Teachers can message administrators, students, and parents. Students can only message teachers. Students are not able to message each other. It's not a social network. And parents can only communicate with the teacher. But it's a great device that we've included in Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition so that we can keep the communication doors open between all the parties involved in the student learning process. So that's great. Here's a sample report. As I mentioned, student responses, except for the writing exercises, are automatically scored for reporting purposes. So here is a class assignment report. This is just one of the many reports. There will be proficiency reports as well as item analysis type reports. But here you'll see you have your class name listed here, your students listed in your class, the results of the assignment for each student. And across the top here you'll see these are the questions that were on. These are the numbered questions that were on the assignment. And at a glance you could look down the column to see how well students answered a particular exercise or not. So you could see for item 4, most of our students answered this item correctly. But if I come over to item 10, not so much. So I know that I can go back in and inspect item 10 and see maybe what the issue here is with this item, and maybe go back and then reteach this particular word. I can also click on a particular X to see the student responses. You could actually see the student responses for that particular question, which is, again, a nice feature. This is the student and parent view. Again, just as a teacher or administrator, once they log into Sadlier Connect, you'll have your product preview pane. So these are all the products that a student has been entitled to based on what the teacher has registered the child for, the student for, I should say. So, which is nice. Again, not only does the administrator have one user name and logins, but the students and parents do as well. So on the left is our product preview pane, and again, students can see and the parents can see the products that they have access to. In the top right is my assignments. Assignments can be organized in several ways, by product, by class, by teacher, or even by due date. And you could see that it also includes the status of whether they're completed, have not started, or in the process of they're active. In the bottom right is where we show the graded assignments. So not only students, but also parents are kept abreast of students' progress throughout the year and can scroll through the different assignments and the students' grades under the graded assignments pane. So I hope that you've seen that with Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition, teachers can easily manage students and assignments. Teachers have access to all resources at point of use, all our online assessments, all our free resources at vocabularyworkshop.com are all available here. We've created Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition, so students are taking assignments in a secure learning environment. And having a site license really helps with personalizing the student learning for advanced students or accelerated students or struggling students. And again, the reporting feature is a robust reporting feature so that students can actually track, teachers, I should say, can actually track student progress. And students, again, having access to all resources at point of use is just key to vocabulary, the vocabulary instruction with Vocabulary Workshop with the iWords, where students can actually hear the correct pronunciation of a word, along with its definition and example sentences. And then the fun stuff is the flashcards, the hangman, and the word search. So with that, I'm going to leave you with these dates that when Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition will be available. Levels A through H will be available, will be launched on August 5th. Grades 1 through 5 will be available on September 15th. And I'd like to offer everybody a free 14-day trial beginning then. The 14-day trial will give you access to a site license, whether it be grades 1 through 9 or 6 through 12. And again, all of Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition will be accessed at SadlierConnect.com. And just know that the site is not live yet, but it will be on August 5th. And you can email me with any questions that you might have with Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition. And should you like to take me up on that 14-day free trial, just please email me and we will set you up when those levels become available. So with that, Jillian, I'm going to open it up to any questions that we might have.
Sure, we have a couple. When did you say Sadlier Connect would be available by again?
So Sadlier Connect will launch when Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition launches on August 5th.
Okay, and you said it's only one license is necessary per school, correct?
One site license is available per building. That's correct. And you will have access to either grades 1 through 6 or 6 through 12.
Okay. Will there be a recording of this webinar for review?
Yes, so we are recording this webinar. This webinar will be available on youtube.com/Sadlier School. And I could type that in the chat box for everybody. And there actually is one. I did one last week, and that one is available as well, Sadlier School. And if you look in your chat box, I just posted the URL where this webinar will be available for you. And look for sneak peek. I believe that's what the webinar is called, Jillian. It's a sneak peek of Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition?
Yes.
Okay.
Should be the very first webinar that's there, since it's the latest webinar that we've recorded.
Okay, great.
Next question, sorry. Does Vocabulary Workshop tie to the other products that we offer? Like if then say they're looking for idioms and then they look for idioms and grammar for writing. Does it work? Does the system work that way?
The programs were definitely were not built together, but there is a cross-reference. There is a overlap between Vocabulary Workshop and the writing exercises in the Grammar for Writing program. I'm not 100% sure if I if I answered that question correctly, but I will. I could look into that to get a better explanation for you.
Okay. Do I need a special login, or can I use the login from the existing Sadlier family of sites, like vocabularyworkshop.com?
So
this is
if
a completely
you
separate
have,
login, correct?
Right. So if you already have a login, if you already have a login for vocabularyworkshop.com, I believe when Sadlier Connect is launched, you can go to that purple box, remember on the beginning, the opening screen, and click that student resources and log in that way, because Vocabulary Workshop will be redirected to Sadlier Connect. And if not, you might, I don't know 100%, and I'll have to check with our digital media department. Robert is not on, correct, Jillian? Our Vice President?
No, he is not.
He's not on.
No.
But you will have to either, if you do not register, you will. If you have registered already, I'm pretty sure you will not have to register twice, but I have to double check on that.
Okay.
Because the program website, vocabularyworkshop.com, will redirect to Sadlier Connect. You will no longer be going to vocabularyworkshop.com. Sorry.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Jillian.
Okay. This teacher's district has purchased both the consumable workbooks, plus the interactive edition. Is it necessary to have both, or do you recommend just using the interactive edition exclusively?
So that's a really good question. We have a lot of schools that are transitioning over to a completely digital program. So if your school is in that transition period, I would recommend both the print and the interactive edition for the first year. But if your school has been fully digital for at least a year, then I would suggest just the digital. But a lot of schools are right now buying both, just to ease the transition to a completely digital program.
Okay. Is the license a renewal annually, or does the cost cover multiple years?
It's an annual subscription.
And does purchasing a specific book automatically give you access to the online interactive edition, or is this a completely separate purchase?
So if you purchase the book in a print form, it does not give you access to the interactive edition automatically. They're two separate purchases. But you could definitely work with your local representative for bundling options.
And do these interactive exercises work on an iPad?
Absolutely, 100% yes. They work on all tablets.
Can you explain how to manually enter a class roster?
So when you would click on that Manage Students, and then you would click on Add Students, you would enter the child's first name, last name, username, and password, and then click Save. Okay.
Are students able to go back and correct any assignments and have it rescored?
If the assignment is to be rescored, I believe it has to be reassigned. Students can actually go back and check their work on a previously completed assignment, but they cannot change their answers, so you would have to reassign that assignment.
Thank you. Can you modify the programs, modify the assessments within the programs if you wanted to reduce the number of words students have learned?
Okay, so we have gotten this request before, and that feature will not be available upon launch, but we are looking into that as an additional feature to add to Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition. So if you wanted to reduce the number of words that a student or a group of students are learning, you would go under the assessments, and you could build your own worksheet for the words in that unit. You can customize it to 10 words, 15 words, or as many as you'd like. So at this point in time, upon launch of the program, You will not be able to edit or modify program assignments, but you can customize your own under the assessment category feature.
Okay. And what is the minimum amount of students for a site license?
So the site licenses, there's several tiers. They begin with the first one is under 100 students, and again, we're going by building, and it goes all the way up to 2,000. So I would, again, if you do not know your local sales representative, please just email me, and your sales representative would be able to talk to you better about pricing and site licenses. But we have them for very small schools that go up to very large schools as well.
Okay, and with the site license, that means that there is there a limit to the number of students or teachers who use it?
So there's not a limit on the number of teachers for your building. So if I'm in a site license, and I'll just give you an example, one tier is 251 students to 500 students. That is your limit. You can go up to 500 students. You may only have 400, but you have the option to enter 500 students with that site license. So it's unlimited teachers, but there is control on the number of student licenses.
Will the free resources still be available for free, like the Hangman and the flashcards, even if they do not have the interactive edition?
That's correct. So that's a really good question. So, for example, if you purchase the print edition and you want your teacher or students, family need access to all those free resources that were available at vocabularyworkshop.com, they would still go to Sadlier Connect. They would log in, and what they would see is only that student resource tab. So remember, we had 4 tabs: instruction, student practice, assessment, and student resources. You will not see those first 3 tabs. You will only see that 4th tab on student resources. And that's where all your free program resources will be, whether you're a teacher, student, or parent.
Great. Can the teacher select the amount of words she wants a student to have for each unit? For example, Johnny has 20 and Sally has 10 words. Both are Unit 1.
So that goes back to really customizing the assignments. So that is no, she cannot. He or she cannot. Again, at the launch of the program, you cannot customize our program assignments that are that we are providing you. But you can, however, use the assessment feature, go into the assessment and build an assessment from items in the item bank and build a 10-word definition page for those students who need fewer words. There will be, there are items for every word meaning in the program in the item bank under assessments, assessment, I should say.
Can this program be used interchangeably between a PC and iPads? Can students start some assignments on a PC and then start again on an iPad? So is there technically a save feature, I guess you would say?
Absolutely. So the students and teachers can access Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition anytime, anywhere, on any device. So they could start, they could save their progress, and then come back and finish it at a later date, a later time, and on a different device.
To use the online assessment, must you use Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition?
That's another really good question. No. So if you, again, are using our print program and only want the online assessment, so you want to ease your way into the digital curriculum, and you want to be able to customize practice worksheets and assign tests, I should say, online, you would only see, actually I think I have a screen for that because that I was, let me see where it is. Okay, so this is, yeah, I did. I remember I added one. If you want only the assessments, only the online assessments, you're using our print edition and you want to ease your way into a digital curriculum, when you log in, you will only see the assessment tab. You'll be able to build an assessment based on all the items that are in the item bank, and you'll see all our program assessments that we have available. Right now, again, I'm only in Unit 1, so there's only a Unit 1 test. But say I was in Unit 3, there would be unit reviews. There would be a Unit 3 test and then a unit review. And then if I was in Unit 6, I believe there would be a Unit 6 test and a cumulative review or a mastery test. So yes, you can purchase the online assessments as a separately, and they are also available as a site license, the same site license, 1 through 6 and 9 through 12, which is really nice because if you really want to build customized or personalized learning, I could pull from grade levels below or above. So that was a good question. Thank you. Some good
Is
questions
it possible?
today.
I know. Sorry.
No worries.
Can the teacher change the verbiage on assessments to make it easier for some students to read, or no?
So again, under the build assessments, you can create your own. So yes, if you wanted to change something, you'd be able to create your own under the build assessment option. But again, any program assignment cannot be changed.
Okay. Does the interactive edition actually grade assignments?
Yes, so student responses are automatically scored and recorded in a grade book for reporting purposes. So except for, remember, the writing exercises. So everything's automatically scored in the program except for the writing exercises. So everything is, yes, automatically scored and graded, if you would.
Can you assign assignments to multiple classes at once, or do you have to go through each class and repeat the process?
You know, that's a good question. I believe it's a single class, but I'm going to check with our digital media department on that one. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. If you reassign the assignment, does it override the original mark?
No, it does not. So it will still be there in your report, but if you'd like to generate a report, you would choose the assignments that would be included in the report. So it'd still be in your grade book, and you'd be able to choose the assignments that you want to include in a report. So it would not go away.
Okay. If it's a single sign-on, how does the system differentiate users?
If it's a single sign-on, the administrator of the school will differentiate users between a teacher or a parent or a student.
Okay. If a student misses a deadline, are they locked out of doing the assignment, or does it show that they turned it in late?
I believe that they are locked out of the assignment and it would have to be reassigned again. Again, I will. That's a really good question, and I will look into that and get back to you as well.
If using this on an iPad, do they use an app or is it web-based?
It's web-based, but we are developing an app. And the only thing is I'm not quite sure the app will be available August 5th, but we are developing an app, but right now it's web-based.
And they can sign on at home, correct? Like using their own computer?
Correct.
You can print out any of the activities, correct?
Yes. Yes. All the activities can be printed.
Can students download the assignment or access the assignment offline?
Students can only access the assignment if it's printed. Otherwise, the assignments are always online.
Okay. And how much does this cost again?
Again, it depends on your tiered site license. It's based on enrollment for your school. And I would, again, reach out to your local representative for pricing. Again, if you do not know your local representative's email address, just email me, email or contact information, email me, and I will put you in touch with your local representative.
Can multiple teachers be assigned to a class for co-teaching situations?
Yes.
I should know this, unfortunately I don't. There aren't any other of these webinars, correct? Live ones?
So this ends the webinars for the month of June. We have not put together a schedule for the summer as of yet, but we will be doing these webinars throughout the, I'm going to say they might start up probably in August and then throughout the school year. But again, in your chat box, you can always view this webinar at youtube.com/Sadlier School until the next webinar. And come August 5th, I know I will be doing more webinars where I'll be going live into the site. So right now this was just a sneak peek, and I hope you are pretty excited about what you saw today, as I know I am, and our company is excited about the new Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition. But come August 5th, we'll be going live into the site, and again, I can offer you a free 14-day trial.
Classroom licenses no longer exist, correct?
Classroom licenses exist until October 1st, when new pricing structure is available.
But for the this Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition, it's by building licenses, not classroom per classroom.
That's
anymore.
correct. Right. Thank you. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Jillian. Keep me on my toes. Keep me on my toes. The online student assessment system was, I guess, what I was thinking. Thanks. Yes.
It's okay. If a student does not answer a question within an activity, would it be scored as wrong or not scored at all?
I believe it's scored as wrong. It's scored as an incorrect answer.
Can you explain further why, if we are purchasing the interactive edition, the print edition would still be recommended for the first year?
I would say that maybe I would say maybe if an assignment is given at home and a student doesn't have, for whatever reason, I don't know, internet access, or if your internet or your school infrastructure for your internet access is not as strong. Again, it's I think that's more the concern of schools than anything else. I mean, as we move forward with the new Common Core assessments, I know that a lot of schools are concerned about their infrastructure, bandwidth, number of students online. So as a safety, a lot of schools are purchasing both the print and the interactive edition for at least the first year.
Especially since it's a pretty new thing for many schools, I would have suggested too.
Correct. Moving to a digital curriculum, yep.
Mm-hmm. Are all Sadlier curriculum and all levels available as an interactive option, or just Vocabulary Workshop?
So as an interactive option, yes, Vocabulary Workshop right now is the only program. We are moving forward to putting all our programs into this platform. Every program is available as an ebook. So if you, and I'll show you a screen if I can come back here and show you, if you were to purchase, except for Vocabulary Workshop is not available as an ebook, but all our other programs are available as an ebook. If you were to come in to say this was Grammar for Writing, Unit 1, under Instruction, this would say ebook, and you would have your ebook for Unit 1. So think of our ebooks as a modular approach, the same as Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition. You wouldn't have an ebook where you can scroll through a static PDF of the entire book. You'd have to select it, the unit or the desired section of the book that you'd go into view. So in long story short, Vocabulary Workshop is the only program available as an interactive edition, but every program is available as an ebook, and all our programs have online assessments as well. So you would have your ebook under your instruction and your assessments for your online assessments for all our other programs.
sorry, I'm clarifying a question before I asked it. A teacher's school consists of grades 5 through 8. Can they get a site license for those 4 grades, since it seems to appear that licenses are separate for 1, 5, and 6, 8? I'm assuming that's not true, though.
So for 5 through 8, they would get a site license for 1 through 9. That's the way the site licenses are structured. They would have access to the lower grade levels and 1 grade level above. So it's 1 through 9. They would have a site license for 1 through 9.
Can you explain the writing piece again? You said that it needed to be hand-scored, and is it possible for that writing assignment to be printed out for easier grading?
Yes, so absolutely. So a student would submit their writing assignment online. So a text box would come up, and students would type as they normally would in the text box to answer the writing assignment and submit it to you. You can then print out that assignment to manually score.
Okay. Do students get feedback right away after completing assignments as well?
Yes, so students will get feedback as to their score. And remember in the beginning where when student, I shouldn't say in the beginning, but when I was showing the student view the graded assignments, students will see a graded assignment as well as a detailed report.
For report card purposes, can the grades gotten from the assignments be weighed differently from the assessments?
So I don't know if there's a weighting structure for in the assignments or in the report section. Again, I'm sorry that our Vice President of Digital Media is not on because like I said, he is the one who is responsible for the development. But I will get back to you on that, on the weighting structure of assignments. And I'm not quite sure. You could change the weighting structure from the assignments and the assessments, but you could definitely choose to include different assignments in your report if that helps.
Sorry, I'm reading through the questions. There are a lot. I am getting to everybody's questions. I apologize. Can you set a time deadline or just a day deadline?
So it's just a day deadline?
Can you set deadlines, whether it's like a 10-minute deadline or an entire day deadline?
It's just a start and an end date deadline. But know that the duration that a student takes to complete an assignment will be recorded, and that would be in your reporting structure. So students will, you'll be able to see how long a student spent on an assignment, which I think is a nice feature as well. You can tell whether a student rushed through an assignment or really took their time to complete an assignment.
Do you know what is exactly needed for this platform to run? Is it just all HTML based, so it'll run smooth, or do you need Java or Flash to work with this system? It is, I believe it's all HTML based because it's fully functional on an iPad. If it was Java, if it had any Java or anything, it would not run on an iPad. So because it's web based, I believe it's because it is available on the iPad, I believe it's all HTML. How many questions are available in the assessment database?
Oh, that's a really good question. So I believe there are, now if you're getting a site license, there are thousands of questions. Ooh, and I don't have that number off the top of my head, but I believe there's about 2,000 to 3,000 per grade level. So if you have a site license for 10 grades, that's a lot of assessment items. Because every meaning in every word at each grade level has at least one definition item, one part of speech item. Then you have antonyms and synonyms, completing the sentence. You have also word association. You have different types of items that are available for each word. So I know that there's about, I'm going to say between 2,200 and 3,000 words per grade level.
Sorry. What is the difference between Vocabulary Workshop and Vocabulary for Success? Because a teacher seems to do that.
So that's a great question. Vocabulary Workshop are for our students that are at or above grade level, and Vocabulary for Success was built for our struggling students.
Okay. And you said that it is possible to print these activities and assignments out so that if a student doesn't have internet access at home, they can complete the assignments at home, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Every assignment is printable.
And they, as well as the writing assignments, rather
yes.
writing assignment, right? Okay.
Yes.
And is there, I don't remember this, I'm sorry. Is there a tool to score the writing online or no?
No. So writing assignments have to be manually scored.
And my school just ordered the print edition for the upcoming school year. Are these tests available to me either online or in a print form?
So I'm not quite sure if they can clarify, Jillian, what they mean by tests. If you're referring to the online assessments, they're available as a separate purchase, and they're online. That's the screen that I showed a little while ago that only had the assessment tab available. If you wanted print assessments, we do offer the student test booklet with this program as well. I'm not quite sure if that's I answered the question, though.
Okay. We'll see if she adds anything.
Okay.
And there is a scrambling capability, correct? So the students have random questions and not the same ones, correct?
That's correct. So no two students, if they're sitting in a computer lab, sitting next to one another, if you check the scramble option when assigning an assignment, no two students will have the same order of questions, and if multiple choice items are included on the assignment, the answer choices are also scrambled for another level of security.
And just so that I can confirm this as well, because other people might want to know, the grade levels are listed to 12 plus. Is this material is considered more advanced than 12th grade, correct?
Level H, correct.
Yes. Sure, we have plenty of them. First question would be, what is the cost for purchasing this program?
So the cost is based on enrollment, and we do have different different tiers for site licenses based on enrollment. And I would suggest that you reach out to your local sales representative for pricing of these different tiers.
So,
Jillian, sorry, or you can email me and I could provide you with these should you not know your local sales representative. Sorry about that.
Great. What if only a certain amount of grade levels in the school use the program? Would that not would that cut them out of the site licenses, or would they
no,
still go
not
by?
at all. I think it's an advantage that you have access to the additional grade levels. Again, to personalize instruction. So even if you we structured our site licenses, even if you were only using grades 3, 4, 5, we wanted you to be able to go at least 2 grade levels below, but we extended it to grades 1 and have that at least a grade level above it. So that should not it should not eliminate you from the site licensing purchase.
Great. Is it possible to that the students can practice exercises more than once?
Yep, you can assign an assignment multiple times. That's not a problem.
Okay. Can the assessments be exported to Moodle or another learning management system?
The assessments, so the individual assessments, You know, I'm going to have to get back on that. Robert, I see you're on. Do you mind, Robert, if I unmute you and ask you to answer this one, Robert?
That's fine.
Okay, thanks. I should introduce Robert. Robert is our Vice President of Digital Media, who his digital media team is responsible for developing this wonderful vocabulary workshop interactive edition. So thanks, Robert, for helping me with answer this question.
Yeah, so the data for assessments that have been taken can be exported out so that it could be loaded into other systems from a reporting perspective. The assessments themselves, if you wanted, extracting them out to give those assessments in another system is not supported.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Can all of this entire system work on an iPad?
Absolutely. It is completely functional on an iPad and tablets.
Okay. Do the students need to sign up through a personal email account?
So there, I'm going to open that to Robert, but there is no email accounts are used, correct, Robert, for the username? It could be a student ID?
Right, correct. So for students, we do not have any email addresses associated to them. The teacher and or the school administrator sets up student accounts for their organization. And with the setup of that, the student gets a username and password. That can be a username and password that's used to access other systems, or it can be one that is specific to Sadlier Connect, but there is no email addresses for students for COPA compliance reasons.
Great, thank you.
Now, it's possible to move as fast or as slowly on this platform, correct? Because there's a teacher who says they only do 10 words a week. They'd still be able to utilize this, correct?
Oh, absolutely. They can go as quickly as they can or as slowly as they must, and they could determine the length of the assignment, the duration of how long an assignment can be completed within, for the number of days it can be completed.
Great. In case of internet connection issues, are any of the materials printable?
Yep, the assignments are completely printable. Every assignment under the teacher screen, if you recall, in the top navigation bar, there was a print icon. So you can print the assignments with and without answers.
Can you talk more about personalizing student learning with content from multiple grade levels? Can I add words to the list or reduce the number of words?
So yeah, that's a great question. So with the built-in test generator, you're able definitely to add additional words. So you'll be able to pull items from different grade levels, and those test bank items will be based on those either the lower grade level or an upper grade level. So you'll be able to pull words from different levels to form or customize your own assignment. And you'll also be able to build diagnostic testing, I believe, to help guide you.
Is the cost yearly, or is it a perpetual site license?
It's an annual subscription. Again, it's based on the number of, it's based on enrollment. And again, the cost, I would, again, reach out to your local representative for a cost.
Also, what standards are you using?
The standards that we are correlating our assignments to are the Common Core State Standards for English Language Arts.
Great. I think this question goes to the one I asked about the pricing with the site licenses. It said, when you said that you can have 2 grades below or 2 grades higher or something like that, I'm sorry. Is it more expensive to have access to those levels, or you just have that? Like,
nope, it's not more expensive. You're just given access to those grade levels.
Okay. To personalize student learning and assignments, can the teacher create groups of students in a class to easily assign an advanced assignment or remedial assignment?
Yep, under that Manage Students icon, you'll be able to create individual groups within a class.
This might be a Robert question. Is there an API that would allow us to connect to our SIS instead of uploading a roster?
There is not yet, but we are working on SIS integration, so that should be available. Whoops, hold on, sorry. Shortly after launch. So I'm actually working with a vendor for student information system integration. So we expect that shortly after August 5th.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. This teacher says since she teaches adults reading from 1.0 to 12.9, can they get combined site licenses that covers all levels?
I wouldn't see why not. Absolutely, you should be able to have access to the complete program. I would, again, speak to your local sales representative on how that can be done. But absolutely, you should be able to have, you will be able to have access from grades 1 through 12.
Okay. This might be a question that both of you could answer. Do you feel the problems incurred last year with version 1.0 have been fixed?
I'm going to say absolutely, but Robert, I don't know if you, Robert, as do you have?
Yes.
Would you like to answer this, or okay?
Yeah. So yeah, the problems from last year have definitely been fixed. We have rebuilt the platform from the ground up. The Sadlier Connect platform. We're basically putting in the same great, Sadlier content, but the platform to deliver it has been rebuilt from folks that have built platforms several times over for other publishers. So we are extremely confident that those problems are a thing of the past and that users won't encounter those types of issues this year.
Great. Thank you. If the student completes the same exercise more than what score is captured in the data collection system? Just one or both of them? Or the most recent?
I believe both of them, but good, Robert.
So I was going to say, all of the, no matter how many times an assignment is given, all the scores are captured. Most of the reports by default will show the most recent score if they've been taken assignment more than once. And most of the reports, if they've taken it more than once, next to the score will show an indicator as to whether the score has gone up, down, or remains the same. There will be a directional arrow next to the score to indicate what's happened. And usually when you click over the score, when you click it, you'll see the dates that they took each of the same assignment, as well as the individual score, and you can then drill down and see the scores.
Great. Can a teacher assign specific exercises to individual students based on standards performance? So can I assign number 3, 4, and 5 to Jimmy, and then 6, 7, 9 to Johnny, or is that not possible?
Robert, I'm going to say that is not built in, but you can answer that if
I'm not sure I understand from the numbers that were referenced.
Just that they were question numbers. So instead of assigning an entire assignment to a student, like all the questions, they can just assign a couple questions to this person and then a couple questions to that student.
No, today for any of the pre-built assessments or exercises that can be assigned to the students, the student gets all those questions. If somebody wanted to do kind of a smaller version of an assignment using the test bank to build a custom assessment, with the appropriate questions would be the kind of the better way to do that.
Okay, great. If my school purchases the workbooks for each student, is the online interactive tools included, or is it a separate purchase?
If they, I'm sorry, can you repeat that? If
they have the print
purchase
edition,
the print edition,
are the online interactive tools included, or is it a separate?
That is a separate
purchase. Excuse me.
The interactive edition is a separate purchase from the print edition.
Okay. Is it possible to rebuild tests, say, around root words?
Is it possible to rebuild tests around root words? I believe you can
Or
customize
any type of thing, I would assume, you know, like idioms or.
Right. Using the items in the test in the test bank, that you'd be able to customize your assessments any way you'd like, as long as there are root or particular items that you're looking for in the item test bank, you will be able to customize assessments or assignments, I should say.
And is there a timestamp that would indicate when a student has accessed and for how long they have spent on a certain assignment or assessment?
Now, Robert, I know we talked about having a duration. I'm not quite sure where we are in the development of that.
Yeah, the duration for the assignment that they were accessing the assignment is recorded and available on one of the reports.
Great.
Okay. Is a print edition needed if the online curriculum is purchased?
Since the Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition is the exact replica, it's an exact version of the digital edition, no, but I know a lot of schools, since they're completely they're not, their first year transitioning to digital, are purchasing both, but the print edition is not necessary because you have the complete program in the Vocabulary Workshop Interactive Edition.
Great. And final question at the moment, if I'm using the print, can I get the online assessment somehow?
So the online assessment is available for separate purchase with the print edition, yes. The digital assessments are available as a separate purchase with the print edition.
Great. And I got another question. I'm not sure if you know this yet, either Robert or Janine, but would the math curriculum also be the same as the print?
So the student and teacher interface will be exactly the same because it will be accessed through the Sadlier Connect platform. Robert, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that. All our programs that will be delivered through Sadlier Connect will all have the same user interface.
Yeah, so I mean, what we're doing with Sadlier Connect is from this point forward, and we're going back for titles that have been published previously. Moving forward, all digital products will be available here. They will have a common look and feel for the way that they operate. That's by design. There's some uniqueness across the specific programs, but from a teacher-student perspective especially, we've tried to make it pretty seamless so that if you're familiar with how to use Vocabulary Workshop and you go over into Progress in Mathematics, you're not going to have a learning curve. The same type of structure that you see for the table of contents, the navigating to resources, the ability to assign resources, etc., is all going to be consistent.
Great. Thank you.
And will the math be available next year as well?
Robert, do you want to comment on delivery of?
So which math? I'm not sure which.
I would say
Progress
specifically
in math.
K6. I would say no specific. I would say, yeah, Progress in Math, specifically K6.
So Progress in Math is scheduled to go on in the late August, early September timeframe with the ebook versions of Progress in Math with all the resources integrated at point of use.
And another question, sorry, is there some type of index to search for words from a different levels?
Yeah, so under the search feature, when you are in the teacher view, you'd be able to, and correct me if I'm wrong, Robert, but you would be able to put in a keyword, whether it be a vocabulary word or another word that you would like to search on, and you could search across, within a product, within a level, across levels, and across products, correct?
Yes, and you can also, if you were interested in searching for resources that map to a particular Common Core standard, you can enter a Common Core standard, and you'll get back a list of resources for that Common Core standard to choose from.
Okay. Is this
great.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Is this or a similar webinar available in recorded form for staff orientations?
So yes, we are recording this webinar, and we will be posting this webinar on youtube.com/Sadlier School. You could find that the recording of the webinar there. We'll also be offering another version of this webinar on Thursday, June 27th at 4 p.m. And we will be offering more webinars once the site goes live August 5th. We will be putting a schedule up on our website as to when we'll be offering additional webinars for the interactive edition.
And another question. You said free trials for 5th grade start on September 15th. Does this mean the program is just to be used on a trial basis at that point, or can we guarantee that this will be our vocabulary resource for the entire school year?
Yep, you can be guaranteed, yes. It's for, you can have a free trial for all grade levels when they do become available, grades 1 through 12. And you can be guaranteed that this is the platform and that you would be using when you do purchase the program.
And I don't see any more questions coming in.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for participating in this webinar today, and look forward to seeing you on future Sadlier webinars. Thank you, everybody.